Hello, welcome to the Cables, Lace, and Tails podcast. My name is Sue, and I am a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. How's it going? Pretty good here. First off, I'd like to thank you for watching, subscribing, commenting, and liking my videos. I truly appreciate it, and I have a lot of fun doing this. Today, we are going to discuss some finished objects. They are sewing related, and then I have about 6 whips in progress. I'm only going to touch base on a couple of them, and then I'll go more in depth on some others because I just didn't work on them too much, and I've already discussed them in length in other videos. The other thing I'm going to discuss at the end is baby gift ideas. I am knitting from stash. I have found 3 to 4 projects that I want to work on, some knit and some crochet. So first off, the thing I have been working on steadily all week is some sewing. I got out my sewing machine last week and I started making bowl and jar covers. I got this jar cover template from Ginger Patch Designs, and it's listed in her description on the email with the jar cover tutorial. Great tutorial. I did a great job following her directions. I got some free fabric from, we had this email thread through my work, and one of my coworkers was getting rid of a bunch of fabric scraps, and in the fabric scraps there was fat quarters or just, you know, cotton flannel, or cotton batting. And I thought, I wonder what I could make out of this. And at first I was thinking, you know, little bags or whatever, but there's a lot of flannel. This is 100% cotton, and Ginger Patch Designs describes what you do, but basically you make a channel and then you put some 1/4 inch elastic in, excuse me, and then it becomes a little, as my daughter says, bonnet. I did make a large one for one of my bowl covers. I traced the bowl, and then you give a 2-inch circumference around that. So there's one. She had this beautiful fabric. I only had 1 fat quarter of it, so I made this. On this one, I used some leftover muslin I had. I do have a whole bunch more ready to go in large bowl, medium bowl, and jar covers, because I do plan on giving these to some people I know. Now, what can you use these for? Well, you're, you know, making bread, some bread product, and you have to let it rise. You can put this over it instead of a towel. Easy peasy. Or you have like a pasta salad in the fridge and you don't want to use plastic wrap because of various reasons. You know, plastic wrap has its place. It is used for specific reasons, in my belief. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Yes, it isn't recyclable and there's all that to it, but the thing I hate about plastic wrap is that it doesn't stick to the thing that you want it to stick on. It sticks to itself. So having this like over a bowl of, you know, pasta salad or whatever in the fridge is really handy. And then here you could like have it for a sourdough starter, or say you have just a jar full of blueberries, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So then you can just cover it and it keeps things nice. Or you could bring this outside and say like it has, I don't know, say you put pickles in here, because this is an old pickle jar from the store. Say you had pickles in here, but you just want people to be able to easily access, but you don't want flies or whatever to go into your food. And then you just cover it up. Voila. So I have been doing batch projects. I thought about showing them, but then they're all nicely pressed. So last night I cut out a bunch more bowl and jar cover pieces. And then I also have a bunch of other things that I was working on, an apron, for example. And then today I spent the part of the morning ironing them all out and getting them all ready to sew later on. So then when I'm actually sewing, I don't have to like, oh, I have to iron this, it's all wrinkly. Nope, it's all ready to go. I just go bing, bang, boom, voila. So it's been actually a lot of fun. I have been learning a lot with my sewing and sewing machine. Now, let's get on with some whips. One thing I only worked on 2 rounds, and I'm only going to briefly mention it as a reminder of my last podcast that I talked about 5 tips for beating the heat and knitting. Well, I can safely say I only did 2 rounds of this beautiful sweater I'm working on. I'm looking for something. I'm looking, yep, yes. There's my progress keeper right here. And as you can see, I only did 2 rounds. This is a mixture of alpaca, wool, and acrylic. And it creates an amazing amount of residual heat. And I can't stand it. Love the project. I just can't knit on this at this time of year. My hands, even touching it right now, I get so hot with this project. So pretty. The Finley is by Olga Putano from this book, Only Yoking. I will be finishing it when it's cooler. I'm not going to touch on it until we get rid of this high heat and humidity, and it'll come because it's mid to late July. Ugh. There's only one. It's like the last 2 weeks of July. It's always hot, and then you get into August, and it's the dog days of summer. So too hot to work on that. I'm just gonna put it off to the side and say I will get back to you. Now, I had worked on this quite a bit. As you know, this is the Cami by Jessie Maed Designs. I'll put information up on each. And as you can see, I did about 1 inch. I worked on this a lot on Saturday when I worked at the food truck. I worked on this before and after work. I was supposed to be working with somebody, but that person did not show up, and I don't know why, or if it was a miscommunication or what. I don't really know. But I worked by myself, and it was intense for a short period of time. And when you work by yourself in a restaurant type situation, you are doing everything. And your mind, when you're done, is like, I'm done now. You can't think anything. So I worked on this. I need to do about 5 more inches, I believe. Could be a little bit more, but I believe 5 more inches. I did measure it. I think it's supposed to be 12 inches. It might be 12 and a half. That's why I say I think. So I'll really look at the pattern and continue. I'm using Discontinued Yarn by K&C. It was from Joann's. It's 100% cotton, hand painted, and I got it on clearance probably about a year or so before Joann's went under, and it is really nice. I really like it. I'm using my 4 square needles. That helps a lot with hand pain. I really like the 3x3 rib. It gives me enough engagement. I know exactly what to do. It's just a really pleasant project to work on. But then I was getting a little bored because I have been working on it so much. I thought, other things need my attention. So I got out my palette cardigan. This is going to be a set-in sleeve cardigan from one of my favorite books, Ann Buds. I've been working on this forever, so not to talk about it too much. You can't even see where my progress was made Maybe you could if you went back and watched the video, but I made quite a bit of progress on this. I think I need to do 5 or between, I don't even know where I'm at. I need to get like 5 or 6 more increases, maybe. So, you know, that's quite a number of rows. It goes fast. I have my tally system, and it's a fingering weight yarn by Knit Picks. Not sponsored, not affiliated. I don't believe they have this colorway. This colorway is called Camel Twist. It is a 2-ply fingering. It doesn't have a real high twist, but you can see that it is twisted. It can split. You know, when you're working on it, you can split this yarn if you're not paying attention to. So I'm using my Knit Picks Reflections lace weight. I believe these are 3.25 millimeters, or US 3. I did a 2x2 rib for the cuff. So essentially I have the back done, the 2 fronts done, and the sleeve done. And now I'll finish this sleeve, start putting everything together. I have a hair that's plaguing me. And then I will do a button band, and this is a V-neck, so I'll probably do, I'm thinking I might just do the button band all in one because it is a V-neck. I'll have to pay attention at that point. I know I've done it before, but you know, at this moment in time, I don't remember what I did. The needles are great to work on. The yarn is lovely to work on. I did start getting a little hot working on this one day, so I put it down and I thought, what else can I work on that I really want to wear this coming winter? And that is my next project. It is the Musselburgh Hat. I made a lot of progress on this since the last time I showed you, which was probably right after I got done with summer school. I am doing 2 strands of Knit Picks palette fingering weight. This is the colorway Briar Twist, and I do believe it has been discontinued. They have a lot of different colors on their website, and I got this yarn originally like 8 or 9 years ago, and then I was making my I have a crew neck cardigan out of this yarn, and I got nervous and they had like a little blowout special on it, and I got a couple more. I thought I had more yarn somewhere, but I was looking for it and I can't find it. So I'm making the Musselburgh hat. I do have little bits left over from other projects. My plan is to knit this whole thing in Briar Twist. Each of these skeins have 231 yards. I want this to be a long hat. I mean, I'm gonna go like this. So presently it is the size of my head, essentially. But what you do with the Musselburgh hat, if you're not familiar, I mean, it is a very popular pattern. You have this long tube, you put it up within itself, and then it's a double brimmed hat. So it is nice and insulated. Provides a great deal of insulation. So I'm just going to show it to you like this because I have it on my double pointed needles. Can you see? Look how much I did. I did all like 5 inches. Oh, let's do this. I am really enjoying knitting on double pointed needles. This is my 5th one. This is, I believe, Knit Picks Sunstruck laminated birch needle. It's an 8-inch long. Knitting in the round really gives my thumb a lot of strength. It just does. not all the time, depending on what size needle I use, depending on the yarn I use, but for a long-term project that sometimes I just want to get done, I can get thumb strain. Now, I can get thumb strain from other projects as well, especially when I'm pushing myself to the point of where it's 10:30, I can get another few more done before I have to go to bed. I've been really pushing myself. I only have so much time off, and during the summer, I want to get as much done as I can, because I'll have another busy year at school. And so this morning, good little scratcher. This morning I woke up with a great deal of thumb pain. So I've been pushing myself a little too hard, and it's just coming along so nicely. When I feel it doubled like this, it just feels nice and squishy and warm. And I really want a new hat to wear on the playground. The one I have is fine. It's just an acrylic one that I inherited from my hat obsessed husband. He buys hats all the time, and I just don't feel that it's right to abandon a hat just because you don't feel like wearing it next year. I believe you wear something until it wears out completely. The hat that I do wear has, like, up here, this is a let's see if I can do this. This is a 4 corner increase, I believe. So on the hat that I wear, there's like these spots right here, and the stitches came apart, and a long time ago I fixed it with some basic acrylic yarn, and I still wear it, and it's still fine. And it doesn't, the thing that bothers me about it is that it comes to here, and I want it to come to here. You think, well, that's not that big of a deal. It really is. Air goes into my ears, and if I'm not careful, it will be, what's the word I'm looking for? Migraine producing. Once my inner ear gets cold, everything sucks. Everything is no fun. So in fact, with my present hat situation, I wear one of those ear bands covering my entire ear, and then the hat sits on that. I may still do that with this hat, depending on, because I really like to be protected from the wind in the winter. So I'm having a difficult time here. All right. This has been very lovely to work on. It's not too hot, even though it is growing, and last night I noticed it was really stuffy in my house. I was getting hot with this. But, you know, it's summer, and wham. That's what I'm telling myself. Stop complaining. It's only warm for so long. So, we're just so used to a temperate climate because we have indoor cooling everywhere we go, or in our cars or whatnot. So we have become soft. We have become soft. All right, so this morning I woke up and I had thumb pain, and I thought to myself, well, darn it, what can I do? What do I want to do? And I'm like, I do have to knit, and I like to give away dishcloths for Christmas, and it's July. And I keep seeing things on YouTube, Christmas in July, start planning now, yada, yada, yada. And I thought, yes. And when I make my dishcloths, I have decided a long time ago, if I'm going to be making as many as I do, that I just do a very simple design, which then scratches the itch of not needing to think too much, being able to help my thumb, as well as working on cotton in the heat. and it's a small project. So when I'm doing this, I just do, I mean, to each their own, right? This is no one's pattern. This is not even my pattern. This is something I saw and I thought, well, I could kind of do something like that. I just do 3 rows, no, 3 garter bumps here. So that would be 6 rows. And then I do 3 garter stitches on each side. Sometimes I do 30, sometimes I do 33, 36, 39. 33 is my favorite. I have a average size hand and it fits my average size hand. Some people are really tiny. 30 stitches would be fine. Some people are really big. 39 would be the better. So this is just some peaches and cream yarn I got from Walmart mini, I don't know, last year. It has gone up quite a bit. These needles I think were from my grandma's stash. They are just a US 7. Yep, boy. So, you know, I love using these. And for the knits, I'm going to take that off. For the knit side, I can continental knit. I'm not great at it. This helps me practice my continental knitting. And why would I want to learn how to continental knit when I am very confident as an English knitter? Thumb pain. The way I do it, when I knit English style, I do this. And I'm always moving my thumb, right? But when I continental, I hold the yarn really, really close. Really close. Maybe closer than it needs to be. I don't know. This is what's comfortable for me. And whatever works, works. Right? Right. So, yeah, this helped a lot this morning. It allowed me to knit on something. I felt like I was getting something out of stash. I also felt like I'm actually progressing on a project. I only have 1 dishcloth done so far. And on average, I usually make about 70, just in case. Because I think last year we had about, I want to say it was less than 65, like 63 or something like that. And then we have like retired teachers come back and work during that time. And so then I'm able to give them one as well. So I ended up giving away all 70 dishcloths last year. It was wonderful. I felt honored to be able to do something like that. I really did. It was something that I like to work on. Knitting provides me more than just something to do. It helps me focus. It helps me process the day. It helps me relax. It helps me feel like I'm part of a community. It feels, when I don't knit or crochet or sew, it feels bleak. Life has no meaning. What's the point? But when I'm working on these projects, I get excited. I can't wait to show people. I want to talk about it. It brings a lot of joy. Now, speaking of joy, one of my coworkers is having a baby. And I'm going to put the picture up here. I found this on Ravelry, and it is a free pattern. I downloaded it to my, no, I didn't download it. I copied and pasted to my own desktop. And I am going to use stash yarn. I have a lot of stash yarn. Some I bought, like the red heart stuff. I was crocheting heavily. And I made a lot of things, you know, toys, blankets, you name it. I made it all a red heart. Ponchos. So this is, I believe, Cafe Latte. I really like this color. Now, you know, And she's scratching the carpet, and I don't want her to do that. No, 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 no. This is buff. I don't even know if they have these colors anymore, but this is Erin. And this is very little warm brown. I don't have much of this. I figured this would be like for the little tassels up on top, but you need darker hooves. And then I got this bag from a thrift store. I'm trying to think, like 2019, but it's more of a sport weight yarn. In the pattern, Jess Huff explains that she used Knit Picks something. I don't remember. I thought, oh, she uses Knit Picks too. But it was like a fingering or sport weight, and she just doubled it up. So I thought this could be like for the hoofs. I also have this brown in case the other browns don't work. And then I have, they're all different colors. This is from some grandma's stash. Yeah, because it was all in this bag. Not even used. So I'm going to be making that for a coworker. She loves Highland cows. She is expecting a baby this year, and I got to get going on it, period. I also got these red ones from there at the same time, red and green and yellow. I thought this could be more of a Christmas aspect when I bought it. So that is number one, the Highland cow. It's so cute, isn't it? Oh, can't wait to show the picture. All right, then I was going through my stash. I'm looking for my stuff. I was going through my stash, and I have a lot of acrylic yarn that I got. Either I bought it, okay, like the Red Heart stuff, or I inherited it from somebody else. I got this big pink thing and this big mint green. Let me tell you, I have made so many things out of this for my daughter. It never ends. I got this from my mother-in-law. She didn't want it anymore. I don't know how many yards it is. I don't know what kind of yarn it is. I know it is acrylic, and I know it is worsted. I have made blankets out of this before, so I'm thinking about making a baby blanket out of these two colors. I do know she's having a girl. She doesn't really like a lot of pink, so maybe having it dominate this color with just a little bit of accents with that. And then the last thing I have from stash, I wanted to be all stash. For a second there, I was like, ooh, I should buy some Chanel yarn for a different Highland cow pattern. That's free. It's also on Ravelry. But when I went to look at Michael's website, because let's face it, Walmart's website sucks. I'm using sucks a lot today. Walmart, you don't know if it's in stock. I've even talked to people at Walmart, and they said, well, don't trust our website. You never know. It's just not very user-friendly. Like if you're looking at Target, for example, for whatever it is. Say you're looking for meat thermometer, okay? And you go to Walmart, and you're like, it might be there, it might not be there. But if you go on to Target's, it says 3 left. And then you're like, cool, I know what aisle it is in, and I know there's 3 left. Anyway, I got this yarn from somebody, from my old knitting group. It is 100 grams. It's 100% polyester. And how many yards? It only has 101 yards. I don't even know what to make out of this. I brought it out because I thought, well, maybe I could find something, you know, like those little toys that also have a blanket. I don't know. This might be back in stash because I just don't know what to make out of it. And it's very fluffy, and that's not always good for babies, you know, because they put stuff in their mouths and whatnot. So that might be a swing and a miss on that one. However, I have been thinking about blankets, and I thought, ooh, easy granny square. I thought, what about like a ripple blanket, but more soft waves? And so I haven't decided on that. I don't know if the blanket should be the way to go for sure. I believe the stuffed animal, because that can be done relatively. I mean, you're making pieces, it's small, it's not too hot and whatnot. The other thing I was thinking about, and I'm really debating on this one, not the pattern. Love the pattern. I don't really like the yarn, I'll be honest. This, as you can see, this yarn was a discontinued yarn by Loops and Threads, right? Yeah. Baby Delight. It basically says you shouldn't machine wash. I have machine washed, but you can't dry it. It is acrylic, so obviously it'll melt in the dryer. It's very, very, it's a sport weight or baby. It's horrible to crochet with, period. That's what I was originally going to do, was crochet with this, and I couldn't. So I knitted my daughter a cardigan and a sweater out of a different colorway, because I had a soft pink and blue colorway, no peach like this one. So that one worked. This, it isn't like, I don't know. I just have a hard time with this yarn. I bought a lot of it. I did make a top out of this. It is extremely hot because it's acrylic. But her baby is due in November. And I stated, if I do make anything like wearable or toy-wise or whatever, it would be machine washable. Because you have enough to do. When you have a newborn baby, you don't need to think, now how do I hand wash this particular item? So I would like to make her a little sweater, because the pattern I made one time before is simple, it's easy, it's super adorable. Do I think this would be really pretty knitted up? Yes. Is it the right yarn for her? Maybe not. So I'm putting that one on hold for a little bit, even though I would love to get this out of stash. But the pattern I got from one of the knitting ladies, a long time ago. And what is it called? Seamless Yoked Sweater. I don't want to give too much away. I have shown the little, did I show it? I was looking for the mint green yarn that I have somewhere in my house that I haven't been able to find. It has disappeared or grown legs and walked away. I have no idea. But I got this massive amount of baby yarn from Michael's back at this time with this sweater, and it was like, oh God, I have no idea how many yards it had. It was astronomically huge, like 2,000. Anyway, I made a lot of things out of it, but I still have about half left. Can't find it anywhere. I made a sweater, this sweater, out of that. I entered it into the State Fair back maybe I made it in 2018. I think I entered in the state fair either in 2018 or 2019, and I got a blue ribbon on it. So it's a really cute pattern, really simple to make. It is small. You can get things done relatively quickly. Now that I know more stuff since the time I started this, because this was like literally the first sweater I ever made, I thought that'd be really cute. Get a nice color. You know, she doesn't want things to be too, what's the word I'm looking for? She's looking to be more gender neutral. The only thing with this sweater, you can either make it a boy or a girl, depending on where you put the buttons. So since she is having a girl, I would just make the girl style, and then if she did have a boy, say later down in the time period, and I made her this sweater, who cares? I mean, back in the days, that's how people knew that it was a boy sweater or a girl sweater, because of where the buttons were. Nowadays, I don't think people really know that anymore. So, but it does require a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter, and I used these before. These are from my grandma's stash. They're really, really dear to me. And back when I first started knitting on that baby sweater, the lady who gave me the pattern also gifted me these plastic needles. So I figured it worked the last time. I got them out, and yeah. So just the yarn choice, I'm not 100% sold, even though I know this would be really cute. I mean, she could wash it and just lay it out to dry. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so those are my plans for baby knits and gifts. I would really like to be able to give her some stuff. Plus, it's always great to get some of your stash used for a great purpose, right? Right. On that fun note, I think that's about it. Let's see. Wow, I've talked a long time. So here I thought I had nothing to say early this morning. Goes to show I always have something to talk about. Well, I hope everyone is doing fine. I hope that you are surviving the heat waves and the smoke and the wildfires and whatnot. My heart goes out to everyone dealing with those horrific conditions. I saw some video footage on something recently. I don't know if it was on a YouTube thing or the news, and it was someone filming a large, I want to say elk. It could have been just a deer running, and my heart goes out to all the wildlife. You know, we have resources that we can, partake in. Not that some of our resources are drying up, but not that we don't have resources. What do the animals do? During the time that we were under such unhealthy air advisories, I started putting out dishes of water and other tidbits for the birds and squirrels in my yard. And I can attest that they appreciated it greatly. I had stopped feeding the birds in my yard a few years ago. I used to put out sunflower seeds, and I like to feed the birds. Don't get me wrong. I love feeding birds. I love watching them. Gives my cat something to do. However, I don't know what kind of birds they are. I call them squawkers because they just squawk so much, and they are migratory, and they look black, but they have a purple green sheen, and I don't know if they're martins or something else. Okay, I don't know. I've looked it up. There's confusing information on the internet. However, those migratory birds have killed woodpecker nests. I've seen it myself in my trees. They are aggressive towards other birds, and since I've stopped buying bird seed and feeding, they don't come to my yard anymore. And now I have cardinals and blue jays, and I don't know if it's a red finch or a scarlet finch, but it has some red feathers on its head. There's all these different types of birds partaking in my yard again, not just the squawkers. So on that fun note, I hope everyone is doing well. Take care and have fun. Bye for now.